He still crosses your mind at night, even though he was the one who broke you the deepest, and that is exactly why your heart still misses the one who hurt you. Now listen to me, because what you feel is not weakness. It is a pattern older than your pain. You tell yourself you should have moved on by now. You deleted the photos, you avoided the songs. You even tried to replace the memories with new faces, new distractions, new beginnings. But somehow, in the silence of your thoughts, their name still echoes like a ghost that refuses to leave. And here is the truth no one tells you. Your heart does not miss people because they were good for you. It misses them because they were familiar. Even pain, when repeated long enough, becomes a kind of emotional home. Carl Jung once suggested that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And maybe that is exactly what is happening inside you. This is not just love. This is memory, attachment, and emotional conditioning woven together so tightly that even suffering feels like connection. But ask yourself, why does something that hurt you still feel like something you lost? Because the mind remembers intensity, not truth, and heartbreak is intense enough to confuse both love and pain into the same emotion. Stay with me, because what you're about to understand will not just explain your heartbreak, it will expose why your heart confuses suffering for love. Part 1. The Illusion of Emotional Gravity. Before we go further, I want you to continue with me, because what you are about to understand may change how you interpret every memory you thought was love. You don't actually miss the person. You miss the emotional gravity they created inside you. There is a strange law of the human heart. Whatever pulls you down the hardest also feels like it pulled you the deepest. When they hurt you, your mind didn't register only pain. It registered importance, and importance becomes attachment. Think of it like this. A deep wound in the ocean floor creates pressure that changes the entire surrounding water. Even after the storm is gone, the pressure remains. That is how your emotional system works. The stronger the emotional shock, the longer it distorts your inner world. This is why philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche warned that the wound is the place where the light enters you, but also where illusion begins. Because not every wound heals into wisdom immediately. Some wounds first turn into obsession. Your mind keeps replaying them not because they were right for you, but because they were emotionally loud. Silence feels empty compared to emotional chaos, and so the brain romanticizes chaos just to feel something familiar. And here is the deeper truth. What you call missing them is often just your nervous system craving the intensity they once provided, even if that intensity came with tears. But tell me, if something only feels meaningful because it hurt you, was it truly love? Or just emotional conditioning dressed as love? In the next part, we will uncover why your mind rewrites their story after they leave, and why distance turns pain into illusion. Part 2. The Memory That Lies to You. Before you move further, stay with this thought, because this is where most people get trapped for years without realizing it. When someone leaves your life, they don't only leave a space in your heart, they leave a gap in your perception of reality. And into that gap, your mind begins to write fiction. Not lies, but edited truth. Over time, your memory stops replaying the full story. It starts selecting fragments, the soft moments, the rare kindness, the laughter before the damage. And slowly, the pain becomes background noise, while the affection becomes the spotlight. This is why distance is dangerous to heartbreak. Because distance is not healing by default, it is editing. You begin to forget how they made you feel in your worst moments, and remember only how they made you feel in your weakest moments of hope. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, but equally terrifying is to accept someone else completely, without illusion." So your mind chooses illusion instead. You don't miss them. You miss the version of them your mind has carefully reconstructed to survive the loss. Because a softened memory is easier to carry than a painful truth. And this is where attachment deepens after separation. Not because love grows, but because truth fades. Ask yourself honestly, are you remembering who they were or who you needed them to be? Because there is a huge difference between the two. One is reality, the other is emotional survival. And in the next part, we will go deeper into the strange psychological bond between pain and identity, and why letting go feels like losing a part of yourself. Part 3. When pain becomes your identity. Before you continue, I want you to sit with a harder truth, one that doesn't comfort you immediately, but eventually frees you. There comes a point in heartbreak where the person is no longer the real attachment. You are, not who they are now, not who they became, but who you were when they were still in your life. Because love doesn't only attach you to a person, it attaches you to a version of yourself that existed around that person. The late-night texts, the anticipation, the anxiety, the hope, it all creates a psychological identity. And when they leave, it feels like that identity is being erased. This is why letting go feels like dying slowly, not because they were your whole world, but because they were the stage where a version of you once lived. Carl Jung once said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. But before acceptance comes grief, the grief of realizing you are not just losing a person, you are losing a story about yourself. And so your mind resists healing, because healing feels like abandonment of identity. This is also why people return to what hurts them, not because it is love, but because it confirms who they believe they are. Someone who loves deeply, waits endlessly, forgives repeatedly, suffers silently. Pain becomes familiar, and familiarity becomes identity. But ask yourself something quietly. If your identity is built on someone who hurt you, then are you truly in love? Or are you attached to the version of yourself that only existed in that suffering? And in the final part, we will uncover the most powerful truth of all: why your heart confuses absence with love, and how real release actually begins. Part 4. The silence that feels like love. Before we end this journey, I need you to stay with me one last time, because this is the moment everything you felt begins to make sense. There is a strange illusion that happens after loss. The louder the silence becomes, the more your heart starts to romanticize what is gone, not because it was right, but because it is gone. The human mind struggles to process absence, so it turns absence into meaning, and meaning into longing, and longing into what feels like love. But sometimes, it is not love you are feeling, it is withdrawal, like a place your nervous system once called home, suddenly going quiet. And silence, when it arrives too quickly, feels like abandonment, even when what left you was pain. This is why Buddha said, attachment is the root of suffering. Because attachment does not ask whether something is good for you, it only asks whether it is familiar. And familiarity, even when it hurts, feels like safety. So your heart misses them in the quiet moments, not because they were your peace, but because they were your emotional storm. And storms, once gone, leave the sky feeling empty. But here is the final truth you need to hear clearly. What you are calling missing them is often just your mind resisting stillness. Because stillness forces you to meet yourself without distraction, without chaos, without illusion. And that is where real healing begins. Not when they return, not when the memory fades, but when you stop confusing intensity with love. Because real love does not leave you lost, it leaves you clear. And if someone made you feel more confused than calm, more anxious than safe, more broken than whole, then what your heart is missing is not them. It is the habit of feeling something strong enough to distract you from yourself. So the question is no longer, Why do I miss them? The real question is, why did I ever need pain to feel love at all? And when you finally sit with that question without running away, you will realize something powerful. You are not missing them anymore. You are waking up from them.